of Helpful Learning, a practice devoted to the cognitive development of children and adults with specific learning difficulties. And I'm very pleased to be hosting this annual event. Before I say any more, I would like to point out that the conference is being filmed and photographed, so if there's anybody out there who objects to this, please make yourselves known to the event organisers who are dotted around the room. Firstly, I'd like to provide you with a brief insight into my background. I have a degree in biochemistry and 23 years experience spread between, switch mobile phones off, spread between commerce and finance. Aside from that, my foremost role is that of a mother to two wonderful children, a daughter aged 19 and a son aged 14. It was after the birth of my son that I realized he fell somewhat outside of the norm, expected norm as far as the school and his teachers were concerned. His first 2 years at school were probably the most difficult for all of us, not least because he's constantly being picked on by his teachers. I recall when he was 4.5 years old, he came home from a particularly bad day and sat down on his father's knee and said, "Dad, I'm really unhappy." I can't explain or describe how distressing that was for myself and my husband. As a parent, you never expect your child, especially at that age, to experience such profound unhappiness. And I have to say, it was a defining moment in my life. From that point onwards, I decided to investigate his learning needs and alternative teaching styles that were suited to him. I don't believe in coincidence, and at the same time, my husband came across an article in the Times Educational Supplement explaining the Raviv method. I investigated, I undertook the training, and the rest, as they say, is history. Thankfully, the dark days are now long gone. My son is as he should be, and he's down here at the bottom here filming. A well-adjusted and cheeky teenager, full of life and looking forward to a promising future, both academically and in terms of personal development. Unfortunately, there are still parents out there experiencing the same kind of difficulties within the system. There's simply not enough emphasis within teacher training courses on learning difficulties, the neurological basis, and effective classroom strategies which work for every child, not just the majority. For this reason, we've altered the normal format of the conference and invited attendance by anyone interested in this arena, be they teachers, SENCOs, occupational therapists, or simply parents wanting to do the best for their child. It's therefore a great pleasure to welcome so many enthusiastic men and women, and all I ask is that you keep an open mind, and I hope that this will encourage a lively exchange of ideas and comments during the question and answer sessions. I know that many of you have travelled from quite a distance, and I'd like to particularly acknowledge delegates from Germany, Scotland, Ireland, and Israel who have made the trip to participate in the largest, most extensive Raviv conference we have held to date. On each chair, there should be an agenda detailing the itinerary for the day, but I would like to run through it very briefly. Following on from my introduction, Nili Raviv, the founder of the Raviv method, will give the keynote speech and explain the program in further detail. This will take us to approximately 10:45 and we'll take a short break. At 11, we are joined by Professor John Stein of Oxford University, who, speaking on wobbles, warbles and fish, the neurological basis of dyslexia. We'll then break for lunch at 1 o'clock, which will be served in the main restaurant. It will be a two-course hot meal consisting of one vegetarian and one non-vegetarian option, followed by dessert, tea and coffee. We do need to resume promptly at 2 p.m. when Dr. Madeleine Portwood, Senior Educational Psychologist at Durham County Council and author of the book Developmental Dyspraxia, will be speaking. Both sessions will allow time for questions and answers at the end of their presentations. For non-Raviv practitioners, the day will conclude at 4 p.m, but Raviv practitioners will be invited to stay for the Professional Development Forum, which will run until approximately 5:30. On the reverse of the agenda, there is a feedback form asking for comments and suggestions on your experience of the event. If you could complete it at the end of the day and leave it on the registration desk at the back, that would be highly appreciated. Finally, some housekeeping points, which I must adhere to as well. If you could switch your mobile phones off, that would be great. And also, there are no fire drills scheduled for today, so if the alarm does sound, please make your way outside through the main entrance to Craven Terrace. Well, to all of you, thank you for being here. Welcome and enjoy the conference. I'd now like to hand over to Lily Raviv.
Thank you.